The sage crafting is really cool because you can make gems and stuff.
Yeah.
You'll be walking around. Maybe you kill a guy, something like that. You can loot his body. He'll have like shards of a gem, and each shard does something different. Like say you'll pick up a lightning shard. Whatever you add to it will be either like lightning. It'll be lightning. You know. It'll be it'll be lightning whatever. But depending on what you combine it with will determine the outcome. So say if you have a lightning, then you use a protection shard on it. You'll have lightning resistance or just flat out resistance to anything.
Okay.
So which is really cool. The higher you get in that, obviously the better gems you find and the better gems you make. Which really help out too because I was talking to you about the ones that I was making. You can make experience booster ones. Okay. So if you socket that to a like a weapon or armor or something like that, you'll get more experience. You'll get a little bonus. There's gold drops too. So I made one that was like plus 20 gold drops. So I can put it on like something stupid like my boots or something like that, and I'll find more gold. Another cool thing too is some of the skills you can buy. There's one that's called Detect Hidden, which is really neat.
That's what I have.
Oh yeah.
So
the first level of it is you find more gold from drops.
Yeah.
So when it comes up saying you found so and so gold, a little thing underneath it will say plus however more from the Detect Hidden skill.
Yeah.
So which is really cool. And then if you add more points to that, you'll eventually find secret doors. You can find like random treasures that are on the ground, like either in a pile of rocks.
And there's a lot of them too. It's not just like, hey, we're gonna give you this and you might find something. It's all over the place.
Yeah, like it even comes up on your map too. It'll have like a little picture of a treasure chest, and that's your Detect Hidden skill. It'll either be like the log or something, how we said. And it's not one of those things that's kind of put aside. It's like, oh, well, they put the points to it. You'll find some gold and then maybe like a sword you can have. But with that, they actually you can find, I know for one instance, I was playing and I found a purple item, which is one of the unique items, the rare unique items from just a log.
Yeah.
So it's sweet because it's the randomized loot, but it's really cool because it's not fixed on where you'll really find the loot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's really sweet in that sense. Something that I wanted to talk about, how you guys said that you like the combat aspect of it.
Let's see, before we get into this, let's actually do this in the fact that we're going to start picking apart the game now and talk about what we hate about it and whether or not you should really get it. That's obviously what we're here for, what we're making this channel for. So with that being said, you start and we'll just kind of pick it apart, what we like, what we don't like. So let's go ahead. Let's get into it.
Kind of like how I said earlier with the blacksmithing, like the little faults like that, it doesn't tear away from how much I actually love this game. One of the things that does is the combat for me. Okay. I cannot stand the combat. If people are going to compare this game so much to Fable, then they need to make sure that it's, it can be compared to Fable, because Fable's combat is awesome. Okay. Because when you dodge in that game, you actually dodge.
Yeah, which was a huge problem for me, at least, in this game.
Especially with Fable, because you could be in the middle of a combo, and if someone's about to come and attack you, you can cancel that combo and block. Yeah. As of Kingdoms of Amalur, if you're in the middle of a combo, you're screwed until you finish that combo. So if you're surrounded by guys, and they're just pegging on you left and right, you either have to dodge or pull something out of your ass in order to get out of that, because they'll just knock you around back and forth. Some of the enemies are the worst for that. There's the enemies called the Niskaru, where they'll come up, they'll do a stab, and then they'll pull away. Yeah. Which is two separate attacks. So you have to hold block to make sure you're blocking both attacks. But if you're fighting two of those, then
which is common actually.
Exactly. Yeah. They'll do the little pull thing attack, and then before you know it, the next guy, his buddy, is coming over and doing the same thing. So you either have to dodge or you have to get rid of one of them, because you can't pay attention to some of the enemies because they just do crazy amounts of attacks.
With that being said, I don't know if this is the way they built the game or if it just keeps happening no matter what. but it seems like the enemies work off of each other. And I mean, the simplest form of fighting the wolves, you'll have, which is really awesome too, is the beginning of the game. So if you get to this point and you don't like it, I'm not going to say put the game down, but I'd say definitely figure out how you want to play it, because in the beginning the wolves will come in, simplest creatures, come in, hit you, like they run at you, knock you over, and then jump to the other side of you. Well, you're most likely going to fight more than one wolf at once. So one wolf will do that while you're getting back up on your feet.
The other one's already pouncing.
If you're not rolling out of the way or dodging with your shield, or blocking rather, that other wolf is lined up and they're going to sick your ass until you fucking realize, hey, I should roll out of the way and kill these, or do a spell or something to get out of the way. And I was coming across that even like higher up, to the point where sometimes I'd have to pause the game and be like, okay, what am I doing wrong? Because these guys would attack me, and by the time I recover from that attack, the other thing would attack me. And like I said, I don't know if that's the way they built the game, or if that just is a random occurrence, that just the animations are timed up perfectly to where one's attacking, the other one's ready to attack. But some points it got to the, like, I kind of just, had to stop and just be like, okay, what is going on? This is really annoying. Sometimes I even just was like, okay, I'm going to let myself die, because I don't want to waste all my potions to stay alive to fight 4 things, I'll die and I'll come back and approach it from a different angle, which, I mean, it's cool in the fact that it challenges you, but at the same time, it's also kind of annoying.
Oh, yes. That's one of the things, too. Like, I mean, a game can be either challenging or it can be, like, annoying.
Yeah.
In this case, it kind of, they're like, hey, we're going to give you a challenge, but in reality, it's just completely, ridiculously annoying. Because you'll be fighting these enemies. One of the biggest enemies that I have a problem with is they're called sprites.
Okay. Yeah.
They're these little floating, like almost like goblin looking things.
Yeah.
They do shit at you.
Yeah. They do this attack where they'll like kind of come up in the air, and then they'll like spin, and then they'll shoot towards you.
Yeah. And
you can sometimes parry that once they hit, and then you'll knock them off, and then have time to attack, whatever. But if you dodge out of the way, if somehow magically your dodge actually works, in this case, if you try to attack, they'll slowly back away.
Okay.
And they're just out of reach for your attack. But once they attack, they hit you right away, that's one of the worst things that could ever happen.
I was in the woods, and there was like 5 of them surrounding me, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah, because that's actually later on in the game. You encounter a arena type level. If you finish, because you can do them right away, but you can finish. There's 2 separate things to the arena. There's a little arena challenges, and then there's the actual quest line for the arena where you fight like the other team bandits, blah blah blah. But one of the challenges is you got to kill 25 sprites
at a time.
At a time.
Okay. Damn.
So yeah, because when you kill one will respawn, like they'll float back up.
Okay.
In that challenge list, there are things that you have to kill while not being hit, which kind of sounds ridiculous. But out of that whole list, fighting the sprites was the worst thing, because they're just coming at you, and because like I said, when you're trying to swing at them, they're just slowly backing away, just out of reach. But once they swipe, you're done. Like,
okay,
it's one of the things that's just kind of, if you're going to have an RPG where it's going to have like this real-time combat, you really have to fine-tune it and tweak it just to make sure that you don't run into small things like that. Because with all the attack cancels and stuff like that, you can easily take out an enemy like as fast as you want. Yeah. But you have to make sure that you have the first initiative. Like you have to press on them right away before they get there, because if they attack you, then you either have to fake dodge or just take it, because there's not a whole lot you can do.
Yeah. Now, what do you say? What do you think about the dodging and all that?
See, my thing isn't really about the combat. I really didn't have too much of a problem with combat. It didn't really like get me like, I don't know.
Yeah, you're pretty early in the game though too. So
yeah, but what I didn't like, which was the cutscenes where I'm talking to someone and
Oh, yeah.
lip syncing.
Yeah, it's just the eyebrows and the
It's just
eyeballs
like-
move, and it's not even like expression.
I've noticed that the hero, like, it's all right that he doesn't really have a voice, like he doesn't say anything.
Yeah,
because-
which, by the way, Salvatore mentioned that in one of the news updates I said. He didn't want a main character that would talk. He said that when he used to play RPGs, if his character talked a way that he didn't feel his character would talk, it would kind of ruin the whole RPG for him. Which is why they don't do that for your character. But okay, continue.
But with the because like if he doesn't have a voice, then I mean, now that you say that is kind of understandable, but he should still kind of like have some kind of expression.
Mm-hmm.
Like if some dude tells you, "Hey, you're going to be fighting like these ridiculous, stupid monsters," then your character should kind of be like, "Okay,"
like feel bewildered or feel like I
Exactly.
got this. Like kind of different stances.
Yeah.
Okay. So what else?
It's just because I've played a lot of open world RPGs, including Skyrim, Fallout, mostly Fallout, and Fable, and their lip syncing is pretty spot on.
Yeah.
And I never had that problem, but just playing Kingdoms of Amalur for the couple hours I did, it was just like I would play Skyrim for hours and hours, and I'm playing Kingdoms of Amalur, and that, I mean, it's just something small, but something like that just kind of was like, all right, I'm just gonna play a little bit, and I'm gonna put it down. That's something.
You didn't feel like you didn't have an emotional
Yeah, I just felt
appeal
like
to the game, is what you're saying.
everyone's just bipolar in this goddamn game.
Yeah. Now, backtracking a little bit, I agree with what he said. The audio and the cutscenes and stuff like that, they're definitely really annoying. I actually had one person, one of the first people you come up with in the game. I was talking to them, and in the cutscene, their eyes were like lazy eyes. Like, I don't know, the camera would shift, and every time it went back to the person, they'd have like one eye looking straight out, and then the other eye was like drifting down. And then the camera would cut and then come back, and it'd be reversed. Like, the left eye was right on, and then the right eye was kind of rolling. And I didn't know if this is the way they designed the character or what, but this is really annoying, and especially when they're talking, sometimes the audio doesn't match up with their lips or vice versa, to where they would talk and it wasn't too far off, but little things like their mouth wouldn't open wide enough for the word that they were saying. So it was like they weren't even talking.
Yeah.
Definitely, and the eyes and the eyebrows, it feels like they kind of did like an AI simulated thing where eyebrows wink every 5 times within this 2-minute frame, and then it would do it randomly. Like, it wouldn't even really care what word they were saying or how they were kind of expressing what they were saying.
Yeah.
But that being said, though, it seems like the main people that they really wanted you to feel in touch with, they did kind of flesh them out a little bit more, but it wasn't anything too realistic where you're like, wow, I still feel like this person needs me, you know?
Yeah.
Now, back to the combat thing. And this is something we both can talk about because you have a different opinion. But me, I really hate the parry system with your shield. It's really cool animation when you can do it. It's basically, if someone's coming up to attack you and you're just standing there, if you pull up your shield like the second before they attack you, and it's literally, it is the second before they attack you, not as they're pulling back to attack you. It's the sword is in the air or whatever weapon, and it's like about to hit you, and you pop it up. Basically, it creates a little field around you, and depending on your shield, it'll do a little bit of extra damage and push that person back and kind of daze them a little
Yeah,
bit.
it'll do like a little slow-mo.
For me, it was a pain in the ass trying to get this down because I would even sit there on fights and say, okay, I'm going into this fight and just blocking and trying to get it down so later in the game I can use it effectively. And for me personally, I know there are a lot of different animations depending on what you're fighting, but it's like, it was really annoying between the fact that enemies will attack you, one will attack you, and the other will line up to attack you, but also the fact that I would try to pull up the shield when I thought was the right time, and it wouldn't be the right time. I'd try to correct it the next time, and it just wouldn't work at all. I've had times where I would get hit and getting really pounded, and I would try to pull up my shield while being hit, not to parry, but to just block, and the shield wouldn't come up at all. Now, dodge rolling, you can do that. Mages can teleport if you spec into it. Pretty much same thing if you're fighting a really big person and you're rolling, and to me, and I think we all agree, the purpose of rolling is to get out of a move not to get away, I guess, per se. If you're rolling and they're hitting at the same time, you have a chance of still being hit if they have like a little slam effect, which I think is really pointless too, because if you're rolling, you're trying to get away, not just kind of move to a different part of the, you know, arena playfield. So it's really annoying when you try to roll and then you're hit and stunned